Olakunle Soriyan is described as an iconoclast, catalytic thought leader, global expression, influence strategist, futurist culture shaper, philanthropist, social impact investor, spiritual guide, and mentor. Popularly called the Rukus, he works globally helping leaders and high-impact individuals reach deeper dimensions of meaning and purpose, discern and embrace their due season for newness, architect higher levels of expression, global influence, and continued relevance for themselves personally. Olakunle Soriyan runs Kenneth Soriyan Research and Ideas and is also the founder of Shria Africa, a non-profit that mobilizes and empowers 1% of African population who live in Africa, as well as people of African descent everywhere to function as a movement unlimited in thought and action.
Thank you so much. Pastor Shola, I really want to celebrate you again for your magnanimity and continuous investment in what I do and what I represent. I don't take it for granted, honestly. And I want you to put your hands together for Pastor Shola for the visionary understanding for penetrating culture today. I also want to thank all the leaders in the house. Pastor, thank you so much, always, for your friendship and all that you do, all the leaders in the house, and you all that have made time to be here, all the good people of Lighthouse for this investment. We celebrate it. So I'm just going to go straight to the point, and I'm going to be talking about some basic monetizing ideas and thoughts around creatives. So if we did not establish anything yesterday, we did emphasize the urgency of the times and how things have changed and how borderlessness and truth technology, right, is the new comfort for all ideas. Now, if you look at this room alone, it tells you, what is going on in your space and probably how people in your space see your space. Because if we change the theme of this conference to how to wrestle to no more spiritual attack or something like that, some dramatic theme about spiritual maneuvers, this hall will be full. Everywhere will be full. The moment it is dimensioned into thoughts and thinking, orderly thinking and processes and systems and structures, you catch just a few people. But you see, the comfort in that is that's how the world works. That's just how the world works. I told you yesterday that only 1% of the population of the world control 99% of the wealth of the world. Only 1% of the world's population control 99% of its wealth. And therefore, the remaining 99% struggle within the 1% of wealth that is available. Just imagine that. So you don't need a bunch of keys to open a door. How many keys do you need? One key, the right key. So we don't need everybody. See, when change begins to dance, usually the majority does not hear the sound. Only few get that sound clearly and respond to it. So now you are here. Your critical goal is about what you are going to do differently. Every time you come into a knowledge room, the critical things you need to focus on, it's not the rhymes, it's not the good statements. It's about, first of all, what you need to stop doing. Number two, what you need to begin to do. And then number three, the things you probably are not clear about yet, but you need to go study and research further. The energy of change is simply about what you need to stop doing and what you need to do. Whatever you are hearing anywhere, I don't care whether it's a seminar, a conference, church, on the counseling table, in the mentoring session, whatever knowledge you are receiving, if you cannot dimension it into what I need to stop doing and what I need to start doing, you have not learned. That is the energy of transformation. Now, there's a sensation of victory you feel once you come into a knowledge room. It's just like when you are struggling with maybe fever or temperature or malaria or something. The moment you start moving towards the hospital, you just begin to feel better. By the time you are getting to the hospital, you may have no symptom anymore. And then you can say, well, I think I'm fine, and then go back. You see, it's energy. You are in an environment of change. Because you are in that room, there's an assurance deep inside of you that is inside out. And so there is a resonance between your reality, your expectation, and the environment you are in. That resonance, right, gives you some relief instantly. Now, if you ignore the doctor and say, I think I'm fine, you're going to suffer a relapse you probably have never seen, you couldn't have prepared for. So what you are feeling at that time, you are not healed, but you have a sensation of victory just because you are in that environment. To have the experience of victory is a different ballgame altogether. Then you have to proceed to see the doctor and make changes. Right? That is what this type of events are about. But there's a sense in which you can come into events like this, just go away with the sensation. Right? The experience of victory itself must come down to what you will stop doing and what you will begin to do. Are you clear? It must come down to that. So, as I begin to articulate my thoughts now, please avoid writing down good words like the movement is in the movement thing. Don't write those kind of things. I will advise you to just divide your sheet into two. On one column, what I will start doing. On another column, what I will stop doing. And resist the temptation to write down words. You can buy the audio later and go play the words if you want to catch all the rhymes. But for this room, in this moment, focus on those two columns. What you need to stop doing and what you need to begin to do. By the time you are done and you collate what you've written in that place, then you have great decisions to make. When you want to destroy your life, you are going to make wrong decisions. On the day you decide to change that life and fix the problem you have created, you are going to make fresh decisions again. Everything comes down to decisions. The decisions you make and how you commit to them. So, when it comes to creatives, you have to understand that you are dealing with an intangible reality. You know, it's easy to be an accountant and know the instant value of what you have as a degree. Society places a premium on it. There is an industry standard for rewarding accounting, right? There are associations that define how it works, right? You have ICANN, you have ACCA, you know, there's a minimum level of understanding that greets that particular skill or discipline, right? The same thing for law, the same thing for medicine. But when it comes to creativity, it's a different ballgame. But because it's really very difficult to begin to dimension that into some particular value that works for everyone. So it's almost like the stock market, where there is a lot of perceived value. It's really about the premium you place on it yourself. Now, the advantage of that is that there is no comparison. So people always ask me, why are your products so expensive? Why are your solutions, your sessions so expensive? And I ask, what is your option? Really? What is your option? If you don't pay me to do it, tell me who you are going to pay. You are going to have to sweat to find somebody else, isn't it? So this is the value I place on it. So that makes me a monopoly. So because I put a price on it, you can't say it's expensive or it's cheap because you can't find a substitute product to say, but Pepsi is $2. Why is Coca-Cola $3? You can't find the other Pepsi. All you have is Coke. So if they say it's $200, you can't say, well, why is it $200? Because you have to bring another product that is $50 for you to say it's too expensive. So what you are saying is that it's not expensive. You just can't afford it. Do you understand? But what you might have missed is that I didn't prepare for you. I prepare for those who can pay me for it. Do you understand? So in the way I put myself out, in the way I put my solutions out, in the way I represent myself, in the way I tell my story, in everything that I do, if you are honest to yourself, you know that I didn't come to serve you. and the people I came to serve resonate towards what I represent. But there's no bigger tragedy for you than not to appreciate the value that you carry yourself. And not to understand the meaning that it has for you, the value that it gives to those who experience it. So I think it begins with that sense of recognition of what you have, how distinct it is, how authentic it is. What exactly is the value of this thing to the human condition? How does this make a change? Why should people pay attention to it? Or this is why they are paying attention to it. This is how they will part with purchasing power to invest in what you have. Now let me shift that a bit, right? To understand that there are now realities that, whether you like it or not, almost every human being, almost every sector, almost every industry, almost every idea is subject to. Part of that, for example, is that whatever idea you have, it has to pass today. Please, let me make it clear. If you're trying to do something small, and you just want to build a little economy for yourself, I'll be speaking over your head today. Right? When I'm speaking to Africans now, or I'm speaking to Christians, but more so Africans or black people, I try my best to challenge you to see what is available and how you can take your stake in it. Because at the end of the day, Africa does not lack successful people as it lacks great people. There are people who have a lot of money, but they are not unlocking any gratitude in society. There were marriages that were fine until the man started making money. Do you understand? There are people I know that if they succeed, it is stress for society. There's a young man I met one time who came to me and said, this year, this must happen to him. I said, may it not happen to you? Because I think that one of your greatest sense of recognition that you have within you is that you know you are very handsome, and you seem to be clear about the impact of that on young girls. The nuisance value of that, I also recognize it. You are better poor. Not that in your poverty your nuisance is not expressed, but it's contained. How it can scale is limited because affair is a budget. When you want to date 19-year-old, you can be writing poem. But at your age, if you want to date a 35-year-old, you don't write poem. It's check. And you don't have it. So you are contained on many levels. You are better poor. Society is safer in your poverty. Money in your hand is a vice. Because you will torture all our girls, other people's wives. You are a crisis. People like you, I don't pray they make it. No, sincerely. And I said, somehow though, let's be clear. Money finds a way it can find a way to your hand. I just wish there's a process that check mentality and character before value can come to you. Unfortunately, there's no visa for that. So there are people who shouldn't, but people do. But the idea is that I look at young people and I say, if this person succeeds, what is the value of this for society? What does it mean for our community? There are people who are successful, who have the money of an entire village or an entire state in their bank account. And the community has no proper health care. They have no proper, nothing works. The roads are bad and all of that because the money is in one person's account. So, there's enough food in the world to feed everybody. God has been faithful. There's enough food to make sure not one human being goes to bed hungry. The problem is distribution. That's the problem. A large chunk of it is in the hands of the wrong people. So in the same way, if you succeed and you become the next Bill Gates, or you become the next Mark Zuckerberg, or you become the next, Elon Musk, what is the value for society? What do we gain? How do you impact on GDP and per capita income? What does that mean for us? Does that mean more stress for our families? Does that mean more stress for our kids? What kind of value are you bringing? And as people of God and as Africans, also we must understand that we've lost our right to think solely of ourselves. Just because of the weight of pain out there, right? By the end of today, I think about 2,500 kids are going to die. What is going to kill them? Shortage of food, lack of water. That's what's going to kill them. Nothing else. So, in that kind of environment, with all that is going on around us, kids dying, diseases of all kinds, right? You need a sense of mission. Some type of social responsibility. Some personal social responsibility. Such that by the time you succeed, or by the time you begin to make $1, society is grateful for that. There is something you attract in that kind of understanding. It's easy to want to be like Bill Gates, just because you envy the type of corporation he has built and how much money he has. But will you care to also understand that he's the highest giver to any cause? Of all those giving, whether to terrorism or to the gospel or to whatever, is the highest giver. So, just imagine that you are God, really. Will you ignore a force like that? Quite frankly, I don't even think it's about whether you will ignore him. That is why you permitted him in the first place. Because you know that this one can handle this capacity. And it's not going to get the money and just come and be sitting in front, harassing these other people, moving around with big cars and just shining and taking care of his family and friends, and society continues to. One person wrestling down polio in nations. The money of one person wrestling down. And these guys are fulfilling scripture on the daily, such that when the other richest rich man in the world, maybe the second or the third or the fourth, Warren Buffett was going to give away about 70% of his income or something like that, of his money or something like that, who did he give it to? You will have thought he would give it to the poorest country in the world, like Haiti or Tanzania, or he will give it to, no, he gave it to the richest man in the world. Because scripture says that he that has, more shall be given. And the one who doesn't have, or who doesn't use what he has, he says shall be taken away. But you will thought that when it's taken away, it should not be given to people who are poor. No, it will be given to the one who has. These are principles. So, I need you to see a picture. How much money do you need to give society $1 million? How much money do you need to have? I'm going to run very fast. How much money do you need to have? Can somebody try? To give maybe your local government $1 million to do social work. How much money would you like to have before you can do that? Let's go. Who can try? Yes, please. Go ahead. Just say it. $5 million. You'd like to have $5 million, you give one. Yes? Any other person? You'd like to have 1 million, and you give the 1 million. Interesting. Yes? One more person here? Yes. 3 million, and you give one. 1 million, then you give 1 million. Okay?
I think if you have 100,000, you can still give out from that 100,000.
Okay, great. Yeah, I get that. But the question I was asking is, how much do you need to have to give $1 million? Right? Well, if I have $1 million, I doubt I'll give $1 million. Because, I need to continue. There's no point giving $1 million and be jogging around. So I have work to do. I have to take care of the work I'm doing. But I will give maybe, after I've taken care of what continuity, meaning that I can go back to work tomorrow and I can fulfill my responsibilities, pay my bills in the office, take care of salary. Whatever is left, I can give the whole thing. Right? It makes sense. $3 million to give $1 million, I think it makes sense. Even $5 million to give $1 million, I think it still makes sense. Right? It makes sense. That's a lot of giving. You know? Some people say, well, if I have $1 million, I'll give $1 million. Well, have it first, let's see. But that's a symposium discussion. But the idea is, as if people say 100 million. As if people say 50 million. Those people will never give anything. But this is the real idea. Don't wait for $1 million. And so we're going to camp around what she finally said. Start now. Begin to show the universe that God has made and the elements he has permitted in them that you are ready for that level of responsibility. Yeah. So if you want to supply water for all, you want to eliminate the shortage of water in the world, start by giving a bottle to one person per month today. And be faithful in giving that one bottle. Before you know what is happening, your business begins to prosper. You can afford 2 bottles. 2 bottles. Before you know what is happening, you can afford 5 bottles. Before you know what is happening, you are affording 200 cartons. Before you know what is happening, you are digging boreholes in different cities, in different villages. Before you know what is happening, you are investing $10 billion, eliminating famine in the world, eliminating, shortage of water, investing in some type of research that will get water directly to the desert or something. If you want to feed everyone, you don't want hunger in the world again. The way to start that is not to have a dream that one day I'm going to give $200 billion. No. Start by feeding one person on your street with 200 naira a week or a month. Be faithful in that little and see what's going to happen. Yeah. I think as an African, you have lost your right with all the pain surrounding us to really think of your progress without thinking of the collective. And probably that is one of the things we need to also begin to think of legislating. In America, doing good is good business. Yeah. Because everything you give to a non-profit is tax deductible. So they're pretty much encouraging everybody to give. You see what I'm saying? But we have to start by showing society that people are better. Many years ago when I was still more focused in Nigeria, when I'm going out, I used to have water and soft drinks in my trunk with ice and all of that. When I get to a checkpoint, I park. I'm not the kind of car they will stop, usually. I'm the kind of car police will just allow to go. So they won't stop me, but I will park and I will beckon to them. So when they come, I open the trunk and say, open it, get some drinks. Just get some drinks. When I get to checkpoints, I just call the police officers and just give them something. Listen, they need it. You don't understand? Please permit me to do this for another 5 minutes. They need it. This is very important. A policeman, do you know that there is nobody, 99.9% of police officers never dreamt to be police officers? 99.9% of policemen you see is the proof of failed dreams. In this part, or who in this room said, when I grow up, I'll be a policeman? Gone are those days where people say, when I grow up, I'm going to be a teacher. Gone are those days. Not here. A lot of people who are in teaching in schools are big company rejects. They are the ones in our schools. A lot of people. Not all. Now that is super true. Bless God for you. Bless God for you. I know so many teachers who are not passionate about it. And justifiably so. They are not wicked people. They never plan to be teaching. He studied some other course and he could not get any job. He has not been able to advance. And they said that indolence is as much a problem. So he can't be idle. So he got a job in his school to come and teach. Do you know how many teachers are teaching without no teacher training at all? And then he gets into the school and he has to begin to teach. He hates teaching. He hates school. He hates the children. He hates himself. But he has to teach. You see what I'm saying? Because of survival. Do you understand? A policeman and an armed robber have the same background. I hope you know. You have to be careful how you judge people. You know that the police officer here and the armed robber here grew up in the same neighborhood under the same economic conditions. One of them chose to be a police officer. Honestly, it's noble. It's quite noble to have chosen to be a police officer. His friend did not choose it. He chose to be an armed robber under the same economic condition. Then they grew up and the armed robber has a gun. The policeman too has a gun. Then his salary is not paid. If it's paid on tiny amount. Do you know police officers die every day? Do you know they die for you? I hope you know that policemen die in this country fighting crime. I know there's no insurance. They die for nothing. Their children, everybody gone. They are stressed. When he was alive, they were stressed. Now that he's dead, no, there's no adjective to describe their condition. You have to go and sit with them to understand what the kids of police officers go through, even while the police officers were around. Do you know that it's better to die than to endure the torture of failed dreams? Do you know every human being has a dream inside of them planted by God? That if anything, I have a right to raise my children, to believe that they will do well enough to offer me comfort at twilight. In the least, every human being has that. To now know that you will never have it, you know you are not going to have that thing, is torture. Probably one of the highest level of torture. So the police officer cannot dream. His dreams are useless. He's hungry. You don't pay him regularly. He's endangered critically. You not give him a gun and say, protect us. Wow. The last person with his type of hunger and insecurity who had a gun was the armed robber. You don't allow the police officer to be in that state and say, give us a gun. Take care of us. So if he asks you for a bribe, honestly, it's probably the highest level of kindness. There are other things he can do. He can shoot you off. You are the one that has a vision. I always tell people, every poor person died twice. Twice. You don't threaten somebody poor with death. If he's afraid, he's not poor yet. By the time he's living, but trust me, he's dead. How do you tell people that if you traffic cocaine to our country, it's capital punishment, we will kill you? And they will say, we will still do it. Because he's already dead. Say, when I did not traffic it, what's my state? I'm dead. If I traffic and I escape, I live. If you catch me and you kill me, well, I'm already dead. So I'm going to try it. So you are the one that has a dream. The guy will just look at you and say, what is he saying? One day, a police officer stopped me and I said, good afternoon, sir. He said, what did you say? I said, good afternoon, sir. He said, I got to go. I said, no, because of my own research, I was curious. Maybe you stopped me. Why did you ask me to be going? He said, oh, God, go. Don't worry. I said, no, I just want to understand. He said, so he volunteered the information. And I'm just paraphrasing. He said, in his life as a police officer, nobody has said sir to him before. On this job, nobody has said sir. So he's so deprived of dignity and honor that at the mention of a word, sir, it didn't matter if I have 300 human heads in my trunk. It didn't matter anymore. It didn't matter if I have guns, if I'm going to go and rob a bank. It didn't check me, just said, go. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, at times we need to be extra aware that we are not enough. That we are all living in a fragile system. And that people really need help and support. And that the fulfillment of our dreams has to be about the lifting of community. Not just about our own comfort. We have to represent that from day one. And we have to let God know we represent that from day one. I've lost count of how many school fees we've paid. Abroad. Not because we have the money. I'm telling you the truth. We do some things. I was telling somebody, I said, you actually think I have a lot of money. Because I did this, you heard that I did this, you heard that this person is schooling abroad, and we paid his school fees. Look, sometimes I don't have a dime in my bank account. And that same day, somebody is reaching out to me and say, sir, I need this help. And this is the help, and this is what we need to do. And I'm like, okay. Now I don't respond to everything I hear. We investigate, we check it. But if I pass that idea to be noble and something has to be done, is that the money is in my pocket or is in my network? Yeah. So we're going to go for it. It's yet to fail till today. Just the commitment that we can make a difference. You know, we can change our corner of the world. You can't change the world. The world is too big. Be mindful of your corner of it. Maybe if you really mind the business of your corner, you will see the geography of that corner expanding and expanding and expanding. Right? Yeah. So I want to first challenge you. And this is not in the books. Today, by the end of the day, take a decision about a percentage of your income from today that is going into personal social responsibility. Decide it. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. If you can't do a percentage amount, say from today, 5,000 naira, I will put it aside to look at my environment and commit to a cause. Yes, do something. If you are earning above 70,000 naira in this country, you can bless somebody with 500 naira a month. You can. And it may look like nothing to you, but there's somebody that will receive 500 naira, you have changed their life in that moment. And if you commit to that 500 bucks every month, before you know what is happening, you are giving that 500 bucks to 20 people. Before you know what is happening, you are giving it to 2,000 people. Before you know what is happening, you are paying some money for some people, you are creating relief. Before you know what is happening, you have a budget of $1 billion going into welfare economics every year. You are building libraries, building institutions. We have to think like that. All of the people you admire, from Bill Gates to Elon Musk to all of those guys, are committed to some work in society. And because of this, there's a compelling need for them to succeed. Even God understands that. And he opens doors because he knows that for every resource that goes into this direction, there's immediate dividend for those who are vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying? So get out of your own comfort zone. Don't just be so. The more focused you are about your own success, understand that, let it count for somebody else. Let your success be meaningful for somebody else. Right? I don't give food to people because I don't believe in that kind of investment. First of all, I don't have enough money. I have little money, chasing a lot of needs. So I leave some other people to give people food, to distribute shirts and shoes. I don't do that. I focus more on things that have high potential for reproduction, that can be reproducible, like education, right? Like education, like startups, like businesses, like helping people start businesses and having a conversation with them when they're going to help somebody start their own. So we're not just giving you money. You know, when are you going to be giving somebody else? How's that going to happen? Can we understand that? Can we commit to that? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It is when each one is responsible for the other one, and we understand that all of us on this side of the earth are responsible for how the world is experienced, and that the actions we take and the decisions we manage becomes the legacy that we create, that others must have comfort in right after we are gone. Are we all here? Is that clear? Take that decision today. 10,000 bucks every month, 20,000 bucks every month, 2% of my income. From today, 1% of my income. Document it. Celebrate it. If you're a bigger business, go to the press, do media. We're doing this. Let us scale this good. Let it become popular, that people can reserve a part of their money to live society. Are we together? That's my first challenge to you. The benefit of that, though, is that when you give, it shall be given unto you. So understand that when you sow, you reap. And there's a harvest for the commitment, particularly when you bless environments that you don't own. Giving is not about just releasing money from your pocket. When you pay school fees, it's not giving. If you pay school fees of your children, it's not giving. That's duty. If you give your wife money to cook and to take care of the family, that's not giving. That's duty. Giving is when you empower a world beyond the one you own. That is giving. So when you give to friends and you give to family and all those kind of people, you are not giving. Who should you give to? You give to those ones. That's duty. But when you give to environments that you don't own, then you are a giver. I have to say this one before we move into the technicalities. Because this is where things don't scale. This is how somebody makes all the money and everybody. Do you understand what I'm saying? So be that bridge and take that decision now. How many of us take that decision today? How many of us take that decision? Take that decision. From today, I will commit to amount to the welfare of humanity, to the advancement of humanity. Every month, I will put 2,500 aside. I'm not asking you to do a lot. I'm saying just start a little fire and see what God will do with it. And you know that the more money you have to spare is also an indication of how much you are making. So as you put something aside, it's the one that gives bread to the eater and seed to the sower. So if you commit to the seed, he will give you the seed to sow. Are we on the same page? Next level now is bring technology to everything you are doing. I said that yesterday briefly, but I'm going to emphasize that very strongly now. And I'm going to just rush over the principles real quick and I get out of your face. Bring tech in it. You see, before COVID, online was the back door to what you do. After COVID, online is the front door to what you do. Offline is the back door. Do you understand what I'm saying? Online is not the front door. You see, Primark in the UK nearly died during COVID. Because before COVID, offline was the front door to his business. Amazon on the other one was, God knows how many percentage in profits, all through COVID. Because long before COVID, Amazon was, online was the front door to the business of Amazon. What that means is that if you are a shoe company, you are not a shoe company using technology. Once you do that, your use of technology is linear. It means you are using technology by buying machines and equipment. That's your technology. Because technology is like a miracle. Anything that creates ease, multiplies speed, creates affordability and comfort is a miracle. Hello? Yeah. So a plane is a miracle. You see? And that is technology. So when you have technology in your thing, that is the effect. Now, if you are a doctor, you are not, if you are a hospital, before COVID, you were a hospital that uses technology to treat people. So it means your use of technology is limited to stethoscope, X-ray machine, MRI machines. You see what I'm saying? But after COVID, you are not a hospital using technology to treat people. You are a technology company that is treating people. If you sell shoes before, you are not a shoe company that is using technology. You are now a tech company selling shoes. Do you understand? Before COVID, if you are a church or a ministry, you are a ministry using technology to reach people. So your use of technology is limited to microphone, keyboard, speaker, and stuff like that. After COVID, you are a tech organization that is reaching people. You are a tech organization doing church. You are not a church using tech. You are now a tech organization that is doing church. So if you are a pharmacist, you have a pharmaceutical store. You are not a pharmaceutical store using technology like the machines you use to collect money and all of that. You are now a technology company that is selling drugs. Perfect example, Amazon again. When Amazon started, what were they selling? Just books. They were not selling anything, just books. But they were selling books not as a bookstore, but as a tech company. And when they dominated book sales and they became a master of it, they already have a tech platform that could sell many other things. They had a website that has attracted the whole world to selling books, and they have all kinds of eyes on that website. So, hey, this is the same technology. It doesn't cost us more. Let's put a shoe there. Let's put a shirt there. Let's put cream there. Let's put hair cream there. Let's put wristwatches there. And before you know what is happening, Amazon is selling everything. Because Amazon at that time was not just a bookshop. They were never a bookshop. They were never a bookstore. They were a tech company that was selling books. And so the speed of diversification is easier because of the platform you already have, which is technology. Are you here? So online is the line. Online is the future. I don't care what you do. If you cannot be represented online, you are jogging with speed into irrelevance. Because with online, you pass two critical tests. You pass the test of visibility. 3 critical tests. You pass the test of visibility. You pass the test of recognizability. You pass the test of transferability. Visibility is that all the computers in the world are on one spot. That's what you call browsing. Every time you are online, you are actually in front of all the phones, computers in the world. That's a big sea. That's some massive ocean, man. With tech, anybody, anywhere can see you. I always tell people, stop pursuing your dreams. Position for your dreams. And the best way to position today is online. If you take online away, how do people in New York see you? How do they know what you are doing? Right now, you could put your work on your website, and anyone, anywhere can run into your work. Anyone, anywhere. Barack Obama can see your work tomorrow. Bill Gates can see your work tomorrow morning. And that work is in Abuja or somewhere in a village in Accra. Once you have a phone, you have data. That's it. Anyone, anywhere can see you. So with that, you must enlarge the territory of your service. You can't be thinking of Abuja anymore. In fact, it is a self-initiated limitation to be online and think only of your geography. Wow. Once you are online, you've lost your right, really, to think only of your geography. You have to transcend the limits of your locale and begin to think universally. It means you are ready to pass the test of universality, not just of locality. Think of the biggest picture. You alone can change so much for us as a nation. You alone, just your app alone, can impact on GDP more than every other company in Nigeria. But you got to see that picture, though. You got to think of that kind of big money. I always talk to entrepreneurs, and when I finish talking to them, I say, man, they don't get it. Because all he wants to do is just shine, blow. What is blow? At 500 million naira, you don't have $1 million yet. $1 million yet. At 500 million naira, you don't have $1 million. And somebody is a billionaire in dollars. And you want to blow. What is that blow? That blow essentially is to achieve a status that puts a crown on you as a one-eyed king in the land of the blind. Because essentially the strength you pride yourself in is a very powerful thing because of the darkness of your environment. It is the ignorance of your locale that defines how special your state is. By the test of universality, you've done nothing. You're not a millionaire because you have 500 million naira. You are a millionaire with 500 million naira because you are in Nigeria. By the test of locality, you are a millionaire. By the test of universality, you are not one. Because you don't have $1 million. The moment the status you pride yourself in changes in value because you crossed a border, you were never there. The strength of a material is in its universal appeal. It's global weight. A wristwatch has to be a wristwatch in every country. It can't be a wristwatch in Lagos and be a shoe in Japan. Once it's a wristwatch, it's a wristwatch. You can't be tall in Jos and be short in Lagos tomorrow because you travel south. You can't be a millionaire in Naira and be a thousandaire in pounds because you cross border. Once you are a millionaire, you should be a millionaire in every currency. If you are not a millionaire in dollars but a millionaire in Naira, you are not a millionaire. The weakness, the darkness, and the ignorance, naivety of your environment are strengthening you in a status that is a lie, but that shines in front of the blind people who observe you every day. You want to be a millionaire? Don't work one more day then. Assuming my theory is untrue, just take 10,000 naira and go to Zimbabwe. You are a millionaire. With 10,000 naira, once you land in Zimbabwe, you are a millionaire. Billionaire, actually. You'll be giving tip like the tip. $4 million. 4 million Zimbabwean dollars. Tip. You will buy a loaf of bread, 8 million. You are eating 8 million. Only you. 8 million loaf of bread. Only you. The number is a technicality. The essence is the value. So at the end of the day, that is your goal. So what is the American? The same thing you are doing. But American is looking at it. How is he looking at it? How is he looking at it? So at that level, seek to pass the test of universality. Whatever you pride yourself in, ask yourself, if I present this in Paris, will they respect it? If I present this in Brussels, will they respect it? If I present it in Rio or Sao Paulo or in the United Kingdom or in New York or Dallas or in Johannesburg or Conakry or Dakar, will they respect it? Or will I just be another one-eyed king in the land of the blind? Do you get what I'm saying? This is how they think in Microsoft. This is how they think in Google. Or is it only Americans who buy Windows? Or is it only Americans on Facebook? Or only Japanese people buy Toyota? So you have to ask yourself, when you are global, it's not because you have crossed a border. Once you cross a border, you are international. You are not global yet. There are so many ideas. I see African churches in America or in London, and it is still Nigerians coming there. I tell people boldly, Nigerians don't live in America. Nigerians live in America, in Nigeria, inside America. That's it. And then you build a church and it's only Nigerians coming there. Or you build a company, you build a store and only Nigerians come there. And you say you are global. You're not global. You are international, we admit, because you have crossed border. You are now global when people of diverse cultures and languages are investing in that idea. If you open a bank in London as a Nigerian bank, if only Nigerians are coming there, you are not a bank. Well, you are a bank, but you are a simple kiosk offering comfort to your people. In other words, it's sympathetic resonance. You see? So if you have a bank that is global bank, like we say, then the Chinese have to come in. The Japanese have to come in. The Americans have to come in. The British have to come in. Just like it's not just Africans who wear Gucci. Italians who wear Gucci. It's not just South Koreans who drive LG or use Samsung. You have to pass that test of universality. Think about that. So when you think about Japan, Honda, Mitsubishi, Sony, let's go, Hitachi, Panasonic, JVC, you could go on and on. Attracting purchasing power from all over the world and bringing it to headquarters in Tokyo. The same thing with Korea. Samsung is there. Hyundai is there. Kia is there. LG is there. Attracting purchasing power from all over the world and bringing it to headquarters. Boom. The same thing with Germany. Heineken, SAP, Adidas. Come on. Volkswagen, BMW, Opel, Mercedes, Audi. Purchasing power from all over the world, bringing it to headquarters in boom. The same thing with America. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Twitter, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google. And all those companies that all of us can name a brand, like I said yesterday, attracting participants from all over the world and bringing to headquarters in Seattle, or headquarters in New York, or in Dallas. That is the game-changing factor. Shepherds, idea shepherds, who understand that we can build something of such intrinsic value that the whole world can see, the whole world can invest in, and we can aggregate all of that value and use it to comfort our people back home. You see what I'm saying? So, the next thing you are doing, ask yourself, how does this make sense? Why should an American see this thing on his app tomorrow and pay for it? That's the test of visibility. Then the test of recognizability. It's not that they can see you, it's that they recognize you as a solution and as an addition to their lifestyle. So, the way you put yourself out, if you put amala for real, you actually make amala like that, black, and put vegetable by the side with big, big meat, and put it out. The white man is going to say, what kind of pudding is this? Or poo? Because they don't get it. But you must understand that pasta, macaroni, spaghetti is not your delicacy. It's Italian delicacy. It's not even European delicacy. It's not American delicacy. It's Italian. People branded it. They passed the test of visibility. They passed the test of recognizability. And then they passed the test of transferability. So we can move this thing from Milan to Africa and it will still be intact. So how do you do that? With amala. And these are not finished products. These are byproducts of a raw material. You see what I'm saying? So how do we move things like that? Because you have to pass those three tests. The test of recognizability. But to pass the test of recognizability, what you have must fit into the lifestyle of people. They won't just patronize you because it looks nice or because you are nice. It has to come. Did you ask for GSM? Did you ask for tablets? Did you say, please, Apple or Samsung, who's going to make a tablet? We need tablets. Did you ask for it? Did you ask for GSM? I said, GSM. Some of you, maybe you are millennials or Gen Z. You may not understand what I'm saying. But we lived before GSM came. Our lives were terribly slow and we didn't know. We didn't even know. We were not complaining. To us, we were all right. If you want to go and see your brother in Lagos, you are going to travel to Lagos to find out he's not at home. Yes. You are going to actually fly, risk your life, go by road. You could have an accident. Anything can happen to you. You are not going to meet him there. You are just going to go and find out that he traveled yesterday. In fact, they may tell you, oh, he just traveled this morning. If only you had come 1 hour earlier. He just left. Wow. And you will say, yeah, you just say, wow, okay. We didn't feel bad. That was how we lived. Our life was very slow. And we did not know. But some people knew. They now observed our life and said, human life is slow. How can we make it faster? So instead of him coming all the way, can he make a text and say, Uncle, I want to come tomorrow. So, I'm traveling in the morning. Can you come in the night? So text messages, GSM technology, phone call, and then everything became cheaper. Landline went off the grid. And then now, instead of coming all the way to Lagos, you could call, Uncle, are you there? And you pick the call and he's in Japan. Oh, I'm in Japan. Oh, you're in Japan. That's so what. Okay. Can we talk later in the day? I'll send you a Zoom link. Boom. Or FaceTime. And then they are talking. They're seeing each other. To see each other face to face before GSM. Face to face. With somebody in Japan. I'm telling you, you are flying there. Yeah. To see him face to face, you are flying there. That one's even beyond call. Yeah. To now see him, and both of you are doing the same thing real time. That's another level. You see what I'm saying? These are miracles. You don't understand because you just met into a generation. For us, these are miracles. Because we knew how our life was. And now we have speed. The game has changed completely. Right? Those are solutions. You see? You didn't know that you needed a tablet. Somebody saw your life as incomplete. designed a solution blueprint around it, and then present it to your life, and it fits. Boom, into your life. Like Lego. It just fitted, boom, into your life. That's what you pay for. It's not a can have. It's not a should have. It's a must have. This is not just a problem you can choose. No, this is a solution that if you don't have it, it's to your detriment. See what I'm saying? So is that the level? If it's not at that level, go and work more. It's not ready yet. You see what I'm saying? Answer that question. What kind of premium people place on this? So at the end of the day, your idea has to shape culture. And what does that mean? Essentially, that means that whatever it is you are doing, please note this. Ask yourself, how does it impact on how people live, how people work, how people love, how they play, and how they die? That's culture shaping. 5 things is 1, 2, 3, 4, or all of the 5. Your idea must find a room in one of those, or 2 of those, or 3 of those. Every time you hear culture shaping, whether it's a product, or a ministry, or an idea, or a philosophy, or an ideology, it comes down to 5 things. Impacting on how we live, how we work, how we love, how we play, and how we die. How we live, how we work, how we love, how we play, and how we die. That's culture shaping. Think about it. Whether it's Facebook, or it's Twitter, or it's Google, or it's Microsoft, or it's Toyota, or it's Coca-Cola, or it's Pepsi, they are impacting on one or more of those areas. So how does your work do that for real? Whether it's Disney World, it's impacting on how we play. That's what I'm saying. So how does your solution do that? Think about that. The moment you pass the test of visibility, recognizability, transferability, whether you like it or not, rewardability comes to you. People send purchasing power your way. You see what I'm saying? And then you look at 8 billion people in the world. How do you capture just 1% of them? Or 2% of them? Or 5% of them? Or 10% of them? If you have 1% of 8 billion, that's 80 billion people, 80 million people. If 80 million people are using your product, do you know how rich you are? Do you know how much money you have? Even if each of them are paying you just $1, that's $80 million. Are we clear? Yes. So, number 3 is, what story are you telling? What story are you telling? Thank you. What story are you telling? You see, let me tell you this. Listen to this very well. All human stories, anything you are trying to do, first of all, 20 years ago, if you come here, they give you the microphone and you start talking and you say your first word. So, life, people are going to look at you like, just 20 years ago, you almost cannot start a sentence with so. You have to start with something else. You know, we don't know. You didn't notice that. You don't talk like that. But now, you could just take the microphone and say, not that you were saying anything before. You just come and say, so we're going to pray Olakunle Soriyan and take the mic. So, we were, and everybody, it's fine. You know why? Because we are in an unannounced age of narratives more than at any point in human history. At every point in time, we are part of an ongoing story. And somehow today, it is almost impossible for people to hear you except you are telling a story with what you're doing. The ear of the audience somehow is looking for that continuity of the story. You have to be telling a story. There must be some narrative. And I have concluded that there are only 6 stories in the world. And whatever story you are telling must fall into one of them. This is why some movies will never sell. This is why some books will never sell. This is why some products will never go anywhere. Because they can't find themselves in those 6 stories. What are these 6 stories? Number 1, so that is the story of rice. Or what some people call grace. The story of rice. That is how something rose. Or it's a story of fall. What some people call grass. Or is rise, fall. Or grace to grass. Or a story of fall, rise. Do you understand? Which is grass to grace. Or a story of rise, fall, rise. Which is grace, grass, back to grace. Or it's a story of fall, rise, fall. Essentially, grass, grace, grass. 6. Go and look for the movie. Go and look for the novel. Go and look for anything. You will find them in those 6. Go and look for those movies that are struggling, or those ideas that cannot go anywhere, that humanity cannot just connect with. You can't find them in those 6. So what is this type of story you are telling? Because that's what humanity somehow wants to hear. These are tiny, tiny things you can miss as you are telling. People just don't want to hear you. You are not that important. People want to connect with you. You also want to connect with people. It's not because you are handsome. Let me give you a story. Let me give you an instance. If you want to get the attention of Gen Z and you say, I'm selling a cake. This cake is sweet. It's beautiful. This cake is amazing. It has so ingredients, so supplement, so vitamin. You're not talking to Gen Z. Probably talking to my generation, baby boomers. Maybe millennials. If you just tell Gen Z that this cake, for everyone you buy, we send 2 to Africa. That's it. They're investing in it. Because they identify more with causes. They demand transparency. You see? So, you have to pretty much fit that idea into that generation or into that lifestyle. There's a glasses company called Warby Parker. Warby Parker. They are probably the fastest selling in the whole world. They are actually. For every pair you buy, they send 1 to Africa. Man, that's how people are buying. You have a cake, you are selling a cupcake. Maybe you put a powerful coat on the cupcake. Even if it's a scripture or some powerful quote on the cupcake. And every time you are selling the cupcake, don't talk about cake, because everybody can make cake. People that make better cakes are on the ground. Say that we are instructing, we are empowering your day a word at a time. You know. You didn't talk about cake at all. People will pay for that. Or it's cake that you are really selling. How many of you know what's this coffee company what's this company in America? Dunkin' Donuts. You know Dunkin' Donuts? In America, they sell donuts. But you know what they are really selling? Coffee. Coffee is what they are really selling. But they don't say they are selling coffee. They say Dunkin' Donuts. We are selling donuts. But their real business is coffee. And they are selling more coffee than people selling coffee who say we are selling coffees. But they didn't say they are selling coffee. They take it from their back. You have to find that pressing need and then take it from there. These are the investments. So it's not that the Americans just know how to make apps or they just know how to push apps. It's that they pay attention to these things. Finally, as I leave you, answer these questions. Everyone living from 2020, new money has come. What did I say? New money. I don't care how you were attracting your value before or how you are creating it. you have to find that newness. You pretty much have to pivot or disrupt yourself. But there's a new money calling you. So the first question is, where is your new money? Or what is your new money? What is it? Either in the way you are doing your thing or away from it. But there's a new money calling you. It could be in your same space, it could be in your same industry. Like somebody says that, I said, what do you say? I'm a graphic artist. I don't think that will sell in the world. I don't think you can call yourself, you don't understand how creatives have just changed. There are rooms I come into today and I'm prophesying just because I don't say I'm a prophet. If I said I was a prophet, I would never get into those rooms. And I practically get in there and I'm prophesying. You know why? Because I say I'm a futurist. That's what I am. Because that is strategic foresighting. But I am more than that. There are things I've spoken to that were accurate, but I have no mathematics for how I arrived at that conclusion. Because it wasn't logic, it was revelation. But I could speak to it. And then it was coming to pass. And people were saying, why did you figure that out, though? At times, I stand in the place. I say that we have some, depending on who I'm speaking with, if we still need to penetrate more. But there's so much insight available. There's so much resource background that is not visible. But my representation is more critical than that resource background. Otherwise, they won't even give you a stake in that room. You understand what I'm saying? So, whatever it is you are doing, where is that new money? What is that new money? Next question on that is that if you know what that new money is, who is holding it? Who is holding that money? Let me ask you a question. Who is holding the money of Indomie? Who is holding the money of Indomie? All of us. Yes. Who is holding? Mothers. What do you say? Kids. That's the answer, actually. It's not mothers. The mothers hold the money, but the kids determine where that money goes. It's the kids that say we want Indomie. The mother doesn't care whether it's Indomie or Mimi or whatever. She doesn't care. But the kids say, we want this, we want this. Then the money goes there. At times, the person keeping the money is not necessarily the one that holds that money. It's just a custodian. Indomie is not all of us. We all eat it. But if you go and ask Indomie, where's your critical market? It's families. And in those families, it's the kids. That is why if you see all their adverts, they don't show a man and a man talking. They show children. It's children that are driving the narrative of the advert. Because that is who they are addressing. Critically, that's their target. You understand what I'm saying? So I asked someone when we used to do some single and married work way back with Pastor Bimbo Dukoya. And we were going to go and pursue some corporate associations. And I asked the team at that time, where is the money of single and married? This is a Christian organization doing single and married. Where is the money? You want to go and look for advert for your TV show as single and married. Where do you go? Shell? Do you go to Shell? First Bank? Where do you go? Restaurants? Maybe. Fashion? Maybe. Yeah? Universities? Church? You can't even go to church because church are looking for money. Church itself need money. That's why we are going to the corporate organizations. Wedding accessory, yeah, but you see, essentially it's family products. Just say family products. You see what I'm saying? Single and married. Sanitary towels. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? What is it for singles? What is it for married people that are critical? It's not restaurants. People can eat easily somewhere else. So the money is in PZ. The money is in Unilever. Do you understand what I'm saying? The money is in Procter & Gamble. That's what the money is. Once you miss that question, where is the money? You have sent yourself on a wild goose chase. How did they call it? wild goose, you have sent yourself in a different direction. That question must be intelligently answered. Just don't answer it with what you think. You can come up with what you think, but you need to talk to people, dig, investigate, and really say, where is this? Who is holding this money? Now, if you know who is holding the money, how do you reach the person? But when I say who is holding the money, I don't mean one person, no. I mean the demography. How do you reach them? How do you reach them? Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do you reach them? If you know how to reach them, how do you reach them? Like, where are they really? Do they congregate in a particular way? Is there something they like to eat? Do they sleep at a particular time? Is there somewhere they like to go? Is there a way they like to think? Where is the money? Who is holding that money? How do you reach them? If you reach them, what do you say? What's your story? What are you promising? What are you offering? What do you say to them? What's your message to them? If you know what to say, how do you say it? How do you say it? Do you need a podcast? Do you need some digital marketing? Do you need a website? Do you need some kind of pop-up stores? What? 5 questions. Every time you answer that 5 questions, it's either you are pivoting or you are building a new market for yourself. Where is the money? Who is holding it? How do you reach him? If you reach him, what do you say? If you know what to say, how do you say it? And don't forget what I said yesterday. Right there with your talents and your giftings is just really nothing. You have to move yourself around those things I've said and really take yourself to become an authority and find time to listen to that again. But most importantly, it is your job to rent a space in the heads of those who observe you on a daily basis. It is your duty to actually rent a space in their heads. Once you rent a space in their head, what you are doing is governing their thinking and governing their behavior. And you do that through 2 things. Very key. Word and imagery. Word and imagery. That is all you've got. Now, this is the science that a lot of creatives ignore. It's not that you know how to do it, or you're going to get people who know how to do it. But you are not just going to mistakenly find yourself at the highest level in the world, attracting purchasing power to yourself. Now, the moment you understand word and imagery, what are you controlling with that? Word and imagery then connect with impulse and imagination. So you are using word and imagery to control impulse and imagination. The moment you arrest those 2, and you arrest that 2, you arrest word and imagery, you arrest impulse and imagination, you got yourself a wild market in the world. That's what Coca-Cola is doing. That's why they are in every refrigerator in the world. That's what Microsoft is doing. That's what Google is doing. Google is a massive monopoly. Right? If you go to Yahoo website, how many things do you see on that website? On the landing page of Yahoo? Countless things. All kinds of things. Articles, all kinds of noise on the page. If you go to Google page, what do you see? Nothing. Straight to the point. Just Google. But if you are Igbo, there's Google for you. If you are Yoruba, there's Google for you. You even click it on your Independence Day in your country, it will become green, white, green. Beat that. So you want to be clear about who you are reaching, what is most important, and Yahoo is Google is kicking Yahoo in the butt. Like, how much was the Yahoo bought for at the end of the day? As on my last check, I think it was $400 million. Beat that. So, as I close, my time is up, but as I close, I want to challenge you, really, to first of all, see the world. See the world. Think beyond your locale and see the world. You can do it from where you are. People can see you and pay you from anywhere in the world. And pay you. There's something called a gig economy now. There's a lot going on there. If you know how to design, they called them graphic artists in 1980. Definitely you can't be called graphic artist in 2022. You have to find a better, some kind of imaginative illustrator or some kind of creative technologist. You have to find some better name for yourself. And it's existing out there. You just can't be a blast from the past, doing the same thing the same way and expecting that somehow your results and your outcomes will be different. Have I helped you? Are you sure? And the last thing I want to tell you is, and this is as important, very, very important. Find a way to ensure that whatever it is you are doing, you are earning in foreign exchange. Right? It doesn't make sense to continue to plan your highest meaning in your local currency, as you have seen. In 2019, 2020, I predicted that by 2022, the Naira will be selling for over 700 Naira. In fact, later in that prediction, I went ahead to say for 1,000. Did anybody get that prediction? And when I said it that time, it looked stupid. Like, at that time, I think we were still on 350 or some amount, or something like that. But here we are, and we are not done. So there's no point earning your money in Naira, man. By the time you earn 1.5 million, it's just about $2,000. It's nothing. That's rent in another country. That's 1 month's rent. So you have to think of that value and say, how do I earn my money in dollars from here? From here. But at the back of that, never forget, is that you are offering a solution that can stand side by side those offering that idea in New York. Because the guy in New York, trust me, knows the value of every dollar. If you give somebody $5 in America, in Nigeria, he will like you. If you give somebody $5 in America, he can worship you. They know the meaning of $5. They know how much work you have to do to have $5. So to get somebody to send you $20 every month from New York, I'm sending it to you as a subscription service every month, right? That takes a lot. That takes a lot of attention because there are so many people that are asking for that same service, asking for that same $20 in his economy. So why should he ignore these guys and give you that $20? Now, there are people that are outsourcing things out of America like crazy because in America, there's dignity of labor. And to pay someone, you are going to pay, man. I called somebody to come and paint my fence. When they gave me my bill, I was depressed. Like, really? I'm going to pay this guy, this is what I'll pay like a CEO in Nigeria for whatever. I'm going to pay this guy like to paint my fence, and I couldn't paint it myself. So I had to endure to maybe $3,000 or $4,000. Now, if I pay somebody in Nigeria, if I pay him 100,000 Naira, he will be very kind to me. He will do it with all diligence. And I'm looking at like, you want to hire a driver in the United States? A chauffeur? If it's an ex-convict and he has gone to jail, maybe you will pay $2,500. Do you know what $2,500 is? That's like over 2 million Naira. That's what you are going to pay a chauffeur. Chauffeur. And it's an ex-convict. Otherwise, you're paying $3,000, $4,000. So you know everybody drives themselves in America, except you're a celebrity or you are some millionaire. You actually have to drive yourself. Because the cost of having a chauffeur, you have to be very rich to do that. You can be somebody in a Range Rover or a Porsche, you have to drive himself. If you want to have a chef, in my house in Lagos, way back, I had a chef, I had two housekeepers, I had 2 security guards that run shifts, I have 2 chauffeurs. The money I pay all of them is, if I put it together, it's less than $1,000 that I used to pay all of them. That doesn't pay one person in America. So that is where you come in. You speak in English. The skills of your space is a universal language. Design is design anywhere. Once you understand the dynamics, you know the color management, you know space management, there's so much you can do, and you can give somebody the same design that an American will give. It's a universal language. So once you understand that, it's easy. Then you can charge maybe 50% less. So if they're going to pay $500 for that design, you can afford to do that at $50 or $100. And then you can put your work out there to see. You put your portfolio out there, they see your design, they know it is real. This is not actually, this is a real skill. And then you offer some type, you come on maybe Fiverr, or you come on, say, Upwork or something. Or you even build your own service and put your own digital marketing for everybody to see. Before you know what is happening, you are not just winning, you are thriving, you are attracting purchasing power, creating jobs, you are outsourcing more to people around you. So much begins to happen just because you respect those dynamics. Think like that, and it's only a matter of time before we see you at the highest level possible. God bless you.